Hi, my name is Leanne and I've been a salon hairstylist for almost 12 years now. Today I'll be giving you some home hair cutting tips for hair that's longer than a pixie and either straight or slightly wavy. We'll be going over bang trims, thinning out your hair, and trimming the layers a little bit. Some supplies you'll definitely need are hair cutting shears, a comb, some clips, and at least 2 mirrors, one big and one small. It's also really helpful to have a water bottle, a cape, and if you're thinning your hair out, perhaps a hair cutting razor like this. Hairstylists usually spend $300 and up on their shears, but if you're going to be doing this at home only once in a while, you could probably find a decent pair for $50 to $100. But even if they're $25, as long as they're called hair cutting shears, they're going to be way better than any home or kitchen shears, which will definitely be too dull, not cut through hairs properly, and sometimes give you split ends with every snip. The best place to cut your hair is over a smooth floor that you can sweep. The bathroom is usually best. Putting down newspaper doesn't really work because the hair falls between the papers when you're trying to gather them up, and if you use a plastic tarp, afterwards you have to clean it or empty it out, so I just cut hair over a smooth floor and then sweep it several times afterwards to make sure I have all the hair. Quick warning, be careful with sharp tools. All hairstylists have cut their own fingers with shears or razors and drawn blood, so take your time and pay attention to your hands and tools at all times. To trim your bangs, first you want to make a nice clean triangular or rounded section with a comb. If you have nails, you can just use your nails. If you part in the middle, you can do a triangle, and that way all the hairs that want to fall forward will be cut. If you flip your hair back and forth or part on the side, you might want to do a rounded shape, or else you'll have an extra piece near the top that's short and doesn't blend in with the hair next to it. I always part my hair on the left, so I do a rounded shape like this and clip the rest of the hair back. Then if it's not laying the way it normally does, I wet it completely, including the roots, so I can blow dry it into place. Hair bounces up, so if you cut it while wet, it's more likely you will cut too much. Always comb the hair straight so none of it is crisscrossing. Hold the hair a bit away from your face if you're taking off more than a 1/4 inch. Always err on the long side and cut less than you think you should. Take little snips at an angle to make sure the ends aren't too blunt, and do a bit of a zigzag with longer and shorter pieces. If your bangs aren't very thick, you can stop here, but if they're too thick for you, you can add some texture by point cutting upward. Try to keep the blades parallel to the hair so it won't cut much. I blink with every snip to avoid hairs getting into my eyes. If it's still too long, cut another 1/4 inch or so until it's the length you're going for. Now I'm going to show you some thinning or texturizing techniques. If your hair is really thick and driving you crazy, making your neck all sweaty and giving you a headache when you have a ponytail, you don't have to deal with it, you can thin it out. Stylists also do this on thinner hair to give it movement or soften the ends, but in that situation I wouldn't try to do it myself. The trick is not to thin too much overall, too much in one spot, or unevenly. You can grab a test section in a place where the hair is thick and not too visible, like near the back, to test out your shears or razor. If it's not the top layer, you can start at least 2 inches from the scalp. If you're using shears, gently close the shears partially as you move a few inches down and then stop. If you slide cut with shears, they need to be very smooth and not grip the hair too much as you slide down, or you'll end up cutting more than you want. If you feel the shears getting caught or cutting too much, don't do any more. It's hard to slide cut your own hair because you can only go in one direction that your dominant hand wants to go, but depending on your shears and control of your hand, it could be safer than using a razor because it doesn't cut as much. For the 2 inches of hair around the part, sometimes you don't cut it because then the shorter strands will stick up and be obvious. If you do want to thin it, start at least 4 inches from the scalp. I usually use a hair cutting razor for this, for hair that's at least 3 inches long, so I can grab it, because on myself I can go in different directions. Make sure you use a razor with a guard like this, and as long as it's on securely, you won't cut yourself. I like the razor because it's more aggressive than shears, so it's faster when you want to really feel a difference. The hair should be wet to ensure a clean cut and avoid split ends. Comb the hair straight, no crisscrossing, and hold the section tight. Moving at a slight angle, slice the hair. As you get used to it, you can use more of an angle to cut more hairs. When you run your fingers through the hair, you can feel which sections are thicker than others and thin out that section. When you're done, all the cut hairs should blend in with the rest with no visible blunt lines. Now here's a quick tip on how to trim your layers. Say your layers are too heavy or you have a lot of split ends. It's not easy to do this, but trimming a little bit shouldn't be too dangerous. Sections are vertical, try to keep track of them, and it's very important to comb all the hair straight, again no crisscrossing, and hold each section tight. If hair is falling through your fingers, grab a smaller section. Water can help control the hair. You don't want to cut the bottom of the section because then it may not blend, but you can more easily cut near the top and create more layers. Point cut and make the ends look nice and soft, but not super thin or it will look flyaway. Go around the perimeter of your head like this. Then cross-check by combing up horizontal layers and cut any ends that are longer than others. I do not recommend trying to cut the back of the bottom of your own hair yourself. Someone who's good at this should help you with it, or you should wait until a professional can do it. It's just too hard to control the angle of your shears when you're reaching behind your head, especially if your other hand is holding a mirror. Each stylist has their own techniques that they've developed over the years. These happen to be mine, and they don't mean that other people's techniques are wrong. They come from years and years of messing with my own hair and goofing up many times. The more practice you get, the better the results, so good luck and thanks for watching.